it's like everybody works for public opinion except me.
Okay.
I'm already dead.
Yep.
You know, the dead doesn't care whether you vote for him or not. Because we're not working for votes. We're not working for popularity.
Right.
We're not working to be stars or entertainers. We're not working for anyone else's opinions or ideas. We're working for what is in the zero. The Japanese call that eternal.
This recorded call is from an
eternity
at a California correctional facility.
We're working in eternity, and we're wasting what little time I've got left to keep that door open. In other words, I'm holding the bridge.
Yep.
I'm holding the door open. They're going to study every damn thing that I have ever said and every move I have ever made. They're going to rehash it and look at it and go over it and over and over. They're going to rub all the paint off of it. They're going to study every damn thing that I have ever said and every move I have ever made. They're going to rehash it and look at it and go over it and over and over. They're going to rub all the paint off of it. But now here we are. We transcended the wooden cross. We transcended the iron cross. Now we're into the plastic cross and the technology cross. We've got a Manson here that's going to exist for eternity, forever. Anything he says is going to continue on as God.
Okay.
It hasn't got a question of like or right or wrong or anything. It's going to be that way.
Okay.
They're going to study every damn thing that I have ever said and every move I have ever made. They're going to rehash it and look at it and go over it and over and over. They're going to rub all the paint off of it. They're going to study every damn thing that I have ever said and every move I have ever made. They're going to rehash it and look at it and go over it and over and over. They're going to rub all the paint off of it. Now here we are. We transcended the wooden cross. We transcended the iron cross. Now we're into the plastic cross and the technology cross. We've got a Manson here that's going to exist for eternity, forever. Anything he says is going to continue on as God.
Okay.
It hasn't got a question of like or right or wrong or anything. It's going to be that way.
Okay.
They're going to study every damn thing that I have ever said and every move I have ever made. They're going to rehash it and look at it and go over it and over and over. They're going to rub all the paint off of it. So what we need to do is not do acts and movies, but to do commands and laws, to make laws, like I make a law.
Okay.
The first law is Atwa. The order of all life on the planet Earth is air. We've got to have air. We've got to put our attention into the air. All of our intelligent life forms are not working for outer space shots or space trips or money or to be baseball stars or rock and roll stars. They're working to survive, to have air to breathe.
There you go.
And if they don't have air to breathe, they do not survive. And anybody that's not working for air to survive is anti-God. God is air. God is not some egotistical preacher trying to sell somebody's body for some profit.
Okay.
The truth about God is the tree is where we get our air, the green. The dead have already died for certain different points, you dig? The Word, first was the Word, and the Word was God. The Word was with God and is God, and the will of God is in the Word. If our words are not true and we don't have the Word, then we don't have anything. We don't have our life, we don't have our money, we don't have our property, we don't have our rights, we don't have our court, we don't have anything if we don't have the truth in our Word. Our Word is all we've got. The Word comes down to the last guy in line holding the Word for everybody else with life. So it comes to me with a knife that if I tell a lie, I die. So I have to hold my word, not because I necessarily want to, but I feel the honor that in my Father as my Father is in me, as I am in my Father, as I am God as God is in me, and the will of God is that anything that you do to me, I have the right to do back to you. In other words, like the Constitution of the United States is written very clearly by our fathers who art in heaven. That's no bullshit. It has no slack in it. There's no act to it. If you do something that's out of line with the Father, then you deserve to get what you give. So when someone stands me up in the court of law and they ridicule me and lie and cheat and double deal and stab me in the back and lock me in the prison, and then everybody else lets them get away with it, then they're responsible for that as much as the person that did it.
I got it.
Communicating.
Yes, sir. I got it. Huh.
So we can't get our man back until Jesus comes back. So let Jesus come back. Jesus is alive. Jesus is not dead.
Right.
When you were born, you were 250,000 years old. There's no such thing as a baby. I found that out. Here's how I found it out. You ready?
Okay.
I get out of prison, I'm walking through this room, and I look when there's a little kid in there about a year old, right?
Yeah.
And they got him in a little cage-like thing, you see?
Yep.
And I said, well, that's weird to have a little kid locked up. He's that young, you know, because I know what being locked up is.
Yeah.
And as I go to the thing, the little kid looks over and says, cook-it. And I look back at the little kid, and I go, cook-it. And he goes, cook-it, that's a city. And I tell him, cook-it, that's a city. He tells me, cook-it, like the poo-poo. And I tell him, cook-it, like the poo-poo. He goes, and I tell him, like a poo-poo. And he goes, stop robbing the kitchen. You not tell him, that's good. He said, yeah. I said, Jesus Christ. I said, come in here. Listen to this. And she said, that's a baby. I said, don't give me that baby shit. I said, there ain't no fucking baby. I said, God, man, that's the universe talking. Raised up inside the system.
Right.
The system is my father. The President of the United States is my dad.
Right.
You know, in other words, our Father who art in heaven. I believe in that. And not only do I believe in it, I don't believe in it, I know it.
Yeah.
There's a difference between believing in something and knowing in something. Does that communicate?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
You know, you can say you believe, that means you think strongly about something. I can think strongly about something and really want to think strongly about it, but that ain't got nothing to do with believing it. Believing is when it's so solid that it's like a rock that can't be moved.
Yep.
Well, that's what you know, and when you know something, it's not a question of what you believe, it's what you know.
Yep.
And you know that George Washington started the New World.
Right.
The Pilgrims started it. The pirates were pilgrims. The pilgrims were pirates.
Yeah.
And they started the Plymouth Rock.
Yep.
Everybody said I was crazy because I traded a brand new 68 Mustang to this old rich woman who had an old Plymouth with a ship on the hood. And I traded her a brand new
Mustang.
Mustang for that old Plymouth because I like that ship. Plymouth Rock.
Right.
And that ship and that car goes together with those wheels that go together with Wheeling, West Virginia. It's more important than one little horse. I got 4 horses in the Second World War.
Yep, that's right, yep.
It's like what I'm dealing in is I'm dealing out the back door of prison. And I'm dealing in uniform, and I'm dealing in situations and procedures and policies that cannot be touched. And there was things that are going to be the way they're going to be, and there's nothing nobody can do about it.
I understand.
In other words, it's not running for votes, or it's not looking for approval. It's only working on survive. It's dead on arrival. It's already dead. It's dead man walking. But it's in the grave. It's what's got to be, or we don't survive. And there was a policy and procedure of ATWA. When something comes up that says this will happen, it will happen, or there won't be anything left.
Right.
And so that procedure is set in uniform. It's like the ultimate of the big brother is going to be there's no more entertainment. There's no more music. There's no more football. There's no more baseball. There's no more basketball. It's all work and uniform. You got a holy war. It's going to be against pollution, not against people. People aren't going to count for anything.
Right.
People are just their own problems. The only thing that we want and we need is chain of command and uniform.
Okay.
That work, chain of command, uniform, survive. Empty out the zoos. There'll be no more zoos. There'll be no more meat eating. There'll be no more killing. It says in the Bible very clearly, thou shalt not kill. That's exactly what it means. It doesn't mean thou shalt not kill except what we want to kill. You did understand?
Yeah.
You either stop killing or we'll kill you. In other words, like Big Brother's going to have the final say-so, and the intelligence of Big Brother is going to be a computer that doesn't need approval. It doesn't need attention. It's just the way it's going to be. It's going to be that way sooner or later. It's got nothing to do with profit. It's got nothing to do with what we want. It's got nothing to do with anything except what's been told by the chain of command.
Survival.
Yes, sir. A need to communicate to ourselves
Okay.
the truth.
Right.
And whether we get it or not, it's going to be there. Because it's coming, because all the dead are falling away. They call themselves alive, and all the living, they call themselves dead. The order of that one don't need a head man. I got a saying, said the head dead man don't need a head man. You need an intelligence. An intelligence. All those who want to survive will do what they're supposed to do. But the information that you get must be valid. Like, for example, what you tell on the military frequency.
Okay.
There will be no more using of wax. Wax is outlawed. There'll be no more using of underarm deodorants. Underarm deodorants are outlawed. There'll be no more use of toilet paper.
Okay.
All these little creature comforts that we have, you've got to give them up. If you don't give them up, that's what's destroying the water. You on the television, and they got these things that all this ultra, this cleans all the dirt. This takes all the dirt. You got these powerful things, these chemicals that you're making, and you're cleaning your sink real clean. But it's killing all the fish in the water.
Right.
It's killing the ocean. You've got tons of this garbage going off into the ocean. You've got to stop that.
Right.
You've got to go up to take your Army and engineers, and you go up to where the water starts in the mountains. You go up to the hood, the monk's hood, and the flowers of the garden, and you stand there and you look at the water. You don't look in the water, you look through the water to the ocean. You see all the things that is coming into the water, all the bad things are coming into the water.
Right.
And you go down the water, go down the line, you say, stop that from going into the water.
Right.
Stop this from going into the water. Put the water back as sacred. You go to India, that great river that runs through India, they take a bath in that river.
Right.
You go try to take a bath at the mouth of the Mississippi River, and you're in trouble.
Yep.
You see it?
Yep.
So that's what we've got to clean up. We've got to clean up all through Montana. We've got to clean up all through the Ohio River. We've got to ease and back off of them dams and back off of the electricity.
Yep.
We've got to take that electricity back. And taking that electricity back, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be cold, and you can't run out and start chopping the trees down.
Right.
All them potbelly stoves that you're saving up money and chawing that wood down, chainsaws are outlawed.
Okay.
Cutting the wood out is outlawed. You're not cutting no more trees down. Don't give me no excuse to tell me you're planting one.
Recorded.
Right.
A 500-year-old tree on a plant one. I'm going to sit here and wait 500 years for the tree to grow back.
Right, right, right.
Every little bit of thing that comes from the sun is giving us atmosphere. You're at war with our atmosphere. Your construction companies are destroying. In the name of construction, it's destruction.
Yep.
You're building these cement walls and putting these iron enforcing things in and tearing up everything is cement.
Yep.
You don't care about the bugs or birds or wildlife.
I know.
All you're caring about is making some money. You've got more houses now than you can use, and you say, well, we can't let them in because they can't pay for them. You know, in other words, you got everything all locked up. You got 1,000 houses over here, nobody living in them.
I know.
And you're over here building another 150 homes.
Yep.
Because you can't slow your minds down. Everybody's got their mind, they got to go to work. If they didn't have no work, they go crazy.
Yep.
Because they can't keep their minds without doing something all the time. They got to have their mind doing something. So when you got to supplement, you got to supplement something for their minds to do. You got to give them. You can't stop the construction. You got to revamp the construction and put the construction not in the houses of construction, but in the garden.
I got you.
Bring your garden back around and say, well, we're not paying you to build useless homes that nobody's living. Reinforce this garden and put these trees here and put these bushes there and put those things in, put that lemon and put that water hole back. Then you go to all those rivers and artificial rivers and start putting back into the natural river. If you don't bring the natural river back online and stop buying and selling the water, you're taking all the water from the animals, and the animals can't afford to buy a drink. How in the hell are you going to survive with an artificial bowl of fruit that you can't eat? It looks good. It feels good and you like it, but it's not going to work. You've got two kings. You've got the king telling you, this is going to be all right, we're saving you money, and we're going to make some tax cuts here, and we're going to make a hoblob-dob-dob there. Or you got a king over here telling you, if you don't do this, you're all going to die. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear the truth about it. So all those that don't want to hear, you put them on one side and let them go. Let them go. And that's what I'm trying to say. You're not going to reflect any change in the planet by doing a movie. If you do a movie saying what I'm saying, it's just another act.
Okay.
What we're doing is not an act. It's not an artificial bowl of apples that you can't eat.
Right.
This is fruit that you can eat. This
You
is
have
substance.
60 seconds.
It's substance. If we make a video, if you and I made a video, and I commanded like it was the bridge of a ship, and I commanded, you ready there?
Yeah, I'm here.
If I commanded like a ship that you're going to do this, that you're not going to use any more soap powder or bleach, and all that stuff that you're advertising on the television that is cleaning all those uncleanable places and cleaning all that dirt, it's killing all the fish.
Yeah.
You dig? In other words, you got to stop.
Right.
Procter & Gamble, you got to stop destroying the water, or there's going to be nothing left. It's like everybody works for public opinion except me.
Okay.
I'm convicted, so I'm already dead.
Yep.
You know, the dead doesn't care whether you vote for him or not. Because we're not working for votes. We're not working for popularity.
Right.
We're not working to be stars or entertainers. We're not working for anyone else's opinions or ideas. We're working for what is in the zero. The Japanese call that eternal.
This recorded call is from an
eternity
at a California correctional facility.
We're working in eternity, and we're wasting what little time I've got left to keep that door open. In other words, I'm holding the bridge.
Yep.
I'm holding the door open.
Okay.
So the more time that they waste by holding me down with some shit little idiot that wants to play like something to impress some girl,
All right.
because like his mother taught him to be a little girl himself, and all them little girl things is the matriarch is Eleanor Roosevelt freed Mandela from prison.
Yeah.
Made him the king of Africa, because she opened up her legs to him when Theodore Roosevelt didn't have anything on the bottom but a wheelchair. You see it?
Yep.
You know, so that was Pell Mell. That was the Tobacco Road. That was C.C. Camps. That was my Uncle Bill. My Uncle Bill and his clan out of the World War II. The reality that has to go through the abstract before it can gain substance into the word reality is difficult to explain because it's in the abstract. So what I'm trying to explain to you is like, I'll give you an example. When Muhammad lived and wrote the Quran, he knew that he would, his image and his reputation would continue on forever. That's why he hurried up and wrote the Muslim law, so that law would benefit the people. You see that?
Yep.
So when he done that, it's pretty much, he did that a lot sharper than the Christians. The Christians didn't have that opportunity to do that.
Right.
They didn't realize that Christ was going to be forever. So the Muslim law is sharper, harder, and more fair, and has more rights to it than the Christian law. But now here we are, we transcended the wooden cross. We transcended the iron cross. Now we're into the plastic cross and the technology cross. We've got a Manson here that's going to exist for eternity, forever. Anything he says is going to continue on as God.
Okay.
It hasn't got a question of like or right or wrong or anything. It's going to be that way.
Okay.
They're going to study every damn thing that I have ever said and every move I have ever made. They're going to rehash it and look at it and go over it and over and over. They're going to rub all the paint off of it. So what we need to do is not do acts and movies, but to do commands and laws, to make laws. Like I make a law. The first law is Atwa. The order of all life on the planet Earth is air. We've got to have air. We've got to put our attention into the air. All of our intelligent life forms are not working for outer space shots or space trips or money or to be baseball stars or rock and roll stars. They're working to survive, to have air to breathe.
There you go.
And if they don't have air to breathe, they do not survive. And anybody that's not working for air to survive is anti-God. God is air. God is not some egotistical preacher trying to sell somebody's body for some profit.
Okay.
The truth about God is the tree is where we get our air, the green. The dead have already died for certain different points, you dig? Like George Washington and the Sons of Liberty died for particular rights that we're supposed to have.
Right.
So we should endure and keep those rights because there's no need to die for the same damn thing twice.
Okay.
So we don't need to go into a revolution and kill the people. The pollution is going to do that. The pollution, the things that they have done. What we need to do is put ourselves in the backyard and clean up our mess in the graveyard, utilize the dead, utilize the things, and get back, just like I told you 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Get back to your horse.
Mm-hmm.
You see me arrested, come from time with buckskin clothes on, running like a wild man, talking about, they said, what do you got to say? I said, get back to your horses. Get back to your horses. Get rid of those automobiles. They told you when the car come out, don't put those cars out. They're going to destroy the atmosphere. And everyone said, how long? They said, a couple hundred years. They said, we'd be dead by then. And there was the same thing with the World War I in France. They said, we got this lethal gases that we're going to put fans and fan them out through the trenches and kill all the enemies. And they said, well, how long will it take before it's there, everybody's dead? It's a doomsday machine that was released before we were born. We cannot save that world. We have to redeem it. And we have to redeem it by living another world, letting that old world go. Letting that entertainment go, letting that rock and roll go, letting all of that go and getting back over here with the garden. The answer is the garden. So rather than take convicts and waste the energy by setting them in cells, put them over back in the garden. Put them at work. Bring the old chain gangs back on the line. Okay? See, here's another reason. Here's another abstract.
Okay.
You cannot lose the Vietnam War. Even though you did lose the Vietnam War, you can't, because it was not really a war, because you already won the World War. So if the world is yours, you can't lose the parking lot.
No, I got you.
In other words, like, the only thing that you got to do is put your authority back in the saddle. Put Gene Autry back in the saddle, and put George Washington back in the White House, and put the Constitution back in motion, and bring Burr back, you dig? Then you've got a round world. If you don't do that, then we just go back to the 1500s and take a red pope, put him back as king of the flatlands, put the Coast Guard up, and then start protecting your borders and keeping all anything that's not secure within the Constitution, throw them out of the country, get them out of here. Deport them. Don't let nobody in your country that's going to undermine your social structure. You still got a social structure that goes before Abraham Lincoln. That's why the old smart men always said the South will rise again. Because it has to. There's no way it cannot. And give my regards to everyone. So we can't get our man back until Jesus comes back. So let Jesus come back. Jesus is alive. Jesus is not dead.
Right.
When you were born, you were 250,000 years old. There's no such thing as a baby. I found that out. Here's how I found it out. You ready?
Okay.
I get out of prison, I walk into this room, and I look when there's a little kid in there about a year old, right?
Yeah.
And they got him in a little cage-like thing, you see?
Yep.
And I said, well, that's weird to have a little kid locked up. He's that young, because I know what being locked up is.
Yeah.
And as I go to the thing, the little kid looks over and says, cook it. And I look back at the little kid, and I go, cook it. And he goes, cook it, that's a said it. And I tell him, cook it, that's a said it. He goes, cook it, like it's a poo-poo. And I tell him, cook it, like it's a poo-poo. He goes, and I tell him, God, got it like a boo-boo. And he goes, God, Robert, I can get you. Tickets, you that tell him, that's good, but I don't get up. He said, yeah. I said, Jesus Christ, I said, come in here. Listen to this. And she said, that's a baby. I said, don't give me that baby shit. I said, there ain't no fucking baby. I said, God, man, that's the universe.